Cause I'm about that. Cause I'm about that.
Just finding where my passion is, and that, like, you know, it's now or never. You either do it now or it's never going to happen. There's no guarantee that there is ever going to be tomorrow.
Try to get them funds up, killing the mic just like I ran the jewels in. Y'all gonna get done.
You know, if you're going to go through life, you might as well do something you love that impacts other people in a positive way.
I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it.
This is a podcast all about business, entrepreneurship, making your passion your paycheck, people who just want to take control and kick life square in the ass.
Finish what I started, I'm about that.
On this week's episode of the Now or Never podcast, special guest Sam Neary, Brett Clausen, and Jamie Stark. Three guys very close to my heart as they are all Rexius Nutrition franchisees and all-around great men. Super excited to have them on the show and all of the different businesses they are involved with. Welcome to the Now or Never podcast, all things business, entrepreneurship, people who just take life and kick it square in the ass. And I got three special guests today. Brett Clausen, Jamie Stark. Go ahead and tell me your name.
Sam Neary.
He needs to introduce himself because he's awesome. Anyways, these are three Rexius Nutrition franchisees of mine, and they have an interesting story about how this all came about. And I just thought it was an awesome opportunity to kind of, instead of me talking all the time, I'm hearing some other people talk about the companies that we're involved with. It all started with Mr. Brett Clausen.
Yep.
The fearless, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Yep. Worked for me in Norfolk. How long ago was that?
It was 2012. Can I take it back a little bit even?
2012, yeah, take it back. Yeah,
so I actually moved down to Seward, Nebraska with my wife here to be in 2011, and I was going to go to Concordia College there, and then I figured out, wow, this is going to be like $30,000 a year. I was going to have to take out like a bunch of Parental Plus loans, just a bunch of extra additional loans, and honestly, it would have been that Sunday night I was talking to one of my best friends. I was actually going to be rooming with him, and I had to make the decision, like, do I want to keep going to college, or do I want to drop out and like not have to pay anything, you know? Yeah. And so I decided the next day, I was there at like 11 o'clock and it was like 12 o'clock was that deadline. Anyways, dropped all my classes and everything, and I was going to T's Gym. It's a shout out, I guess. But T's Gym in Seward, Nebraska, it's like an old school, like hardcore, kind of like a Bob's here, maybe in Omaha, I guess. Yeah. And I actually opened up my own little supplement shop there. It was Brett's Nutrition. I don't know. Actually, do you remember this?
I remember this.
So this would have been before. This has probably been the first time I ever met you, I think, because I came in and I talked to you and I was like, just asking for advice. Yep. And you gave me some advice. I don't remember what you said, even to be honest with you. But then I went back and that only lasted a couple months. And honestly, don't come after me the state or anything, because I'm pretty sure it was illegal. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying, you know? Just
statute of limitations. No, statute of limitations is gone. It's been over 7 years?
Yeah,
you're good. Like that. Yeah, you're good. No statute of limitations.
So I just ordered off Europa, you know? I didn't know what I was doing. And they needed, you know, the standard stuff to get order off there. And I was just, here's a piece of paper, does this work? And yep, here we go. So got it in, whatever, and then that didn't work out, so I ended up moving back, and I worked at a couple factory jobs actually, and again, that's just not for me. So it was interesting at the time, I don't know if I even told you this, but at the time, I had an interview with Nucor in Norfolk, which, like, if you're in Norfolk, like, that's the cream of the crop, you know, that's what you want to do.
That's the retirement path.
So it was literally, and I'm not saying I was guaranteed that job by any means. Yeah. But I was either going to probably do that, or I was going to, you know, piece it together, start working for you part-time, and, you know, like some Walmart on the side, and then I worked for Envisions there. Yeah. So I chose, thankfully, thank God, that I actually started with you instead of there. And do you remember this too? I had just switched phone numbers, and I actually wrote the phone number down incorrectly, so you messaged me on Facebook about a job.
Yeah, I remember, because you wouldn't. I'm like, well, he's not messaging me back. I'm like, I'm gonna pop on Facebook, and I was still newer to social media at the time. Like, I had it, but I didn't really use it. You know?
Right.
And I'm like, maybe he's got Facebook, because I've seen it on Facebook a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, I wrote my number wrong. Like, who writes down their own phone number wrong? I thought you were just dodging me. You know?
That's me. No, that worked out, and then just started working for you for like 4 to 8 hours a week, I think, and you know, it's been a blessing the entire time. So that's kind of how I started. Then, you know, I think I worked for you for 2.5, 3 years, I believe it was, and then, you know, I was kind of deciding what I wanted to do with life, and I chose to actually sell cars for a little bit. And I started doing that, and again, like, nothing wrong with car sales. I'm glad I did that too, to be honest with you, because it teaches extra skills and stuff. But I was just laying there, and I was laying there with my wife in bed, and I was just sitting there. I was like, had an epiphany. I was like, why don't we actually just start our own Rexius store? Yeah. So that's where, again, I approached Jamie, and we always talked about just being at 12 o'clock where you need to be. And
Well, okay, the funny thing was that you decided to leave, and I was like, no, because he was an awesome manager who broke records there, and I ended up having two other store guys who worked with you at the time who started franchises.
Yeah.
Kyle Dreyfus in Columbus, and then Asher Premier in Kearney.
Yep.
And then at the time I didn't want to sell my second store ever because it was Norfolk, and
Right.
hindsight being 2020. But anyways, and then you left me, and whenever you kind of, hey, I want to talk to you, I was like, please tell me you're coming back, and then you're like, I'll start my own. Well. Yeah. I still got to find a manager now, but
Yeah.
And then that's how I met you.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're gonna do Fremont, Nebraska. I'm like, Fremont's good.
Yeah.
Fremont's close.
Yeah.
I remember going through I met your landlord.
Yeah.
You guys get that lease or whatever. Like, we're gonna do this. I'm like, I always get excited when people start stores because it reinvigorates my excitement.
Right.
Because I've done this a long time,
Yeah.
So every once in a while I feel how excited you were. You guys were just jacked up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you broke the record there that first month.
It was a good first month.
Yeah. So how did you get Jamie? How did you get involved in this? Let's go with you. Right?
Yeah. So, at the time I was teaching actually. I was teaching in Pierce, Nebraska.
Yeah.
I was a high school ag teacher actually, taught some shop classes, FFA advisor. I did some coaching up there. And actually the year prior to this, I was like kind of done teaching. I've always been kind of an entrepreneurial spirit. And so I tried talking my wife into, hey, I should leave this job and go do my own thing. And she was like, no, you have to stay. So
Yeah.
stayed another year. And so then I think it was October when you first approached me, wasn't it? Something like that following year?
Yeah, something
So
like that.
obviously we're in the thick of a school year, and he approached me, and it was kind of no brainer for me. I was just ready to be done teaching. And so the ability to go out and obviously do with one of my best friends as well was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. So, we started looking at the numbers, and I was like, yeah, let's do this. So,
Right.
and then we had to find financing. So
that was one of those
fun part.
Someone might say you ran the numbers.
You ran damn near the style running numbers.
And I think that's a lot to be said when it comes to financing. I just did have a video I'll probably post later today. Actually, Giovanni, whatever this is, getting that first business loan is the biggest pain in the ass that there is.
Yeah.
But it takes people who are strong mentally and the fortitude to see it through because it's never a first yes. And you guys went 6 ways to Sunday to get that first
Yeah,
loan.
I went to about a dozen. We actually just made a video on this, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And I'll tell the story real fast. And again, no hard feelings towards anybody. It was actually a bank that I use, and I obviously won't say their name or anything.
Yeah.
It's not the bank we're using now. But I actually worked with the main guy there, and it was actually a pair of brothers that owned the bank. And he was actually on vacation at the time. So we were talking to his brother, and we go in. And again, we had all the number projections. We had the business plan. We had some capital. It's not like we were just coming in there not knowing what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And okay, so here's what we is. Can you do anything for us for a loan? And he looks at us and he seriously tells us this, and it puts a chip on my shoulders to today. And he says, "There's no way that anybody would ever give you a loan for this." And I look at him and I said, "Well, we just got approved down the street. We were just coming to you to see if we could get a better interest rate." And then we went back to where we got a loan now. So
Seriously?
I swear to God, yeah, that's an actual story.
True story. 5 minutes after we left the other meeting, and she was like, yep, we'll do it.
Yeah. So that puts a chip on my shoulder. Like I said, that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's just something. But
Yeah.
Well, and I think we had that. I have it still to this day. Sometimes, I tried this business when I was 23.
Right.
And 22, and everybody said, you're nuts. They're not giving you money. And family, it's just not, go figure it out on your own, which I think is good. I don't think, I've never seen anybody who's had their parents hand things to them they've really ever accomplished anything.
Yeah.
Few and far in between. So I was kind of glad my parents did it the way they did. But I didn't know what I was doing. That's kind of why I do this podcast. Because I had no clue.
Yeah.
I would have done it 6 ways to illegal, not intentionally, just because I wouldn't have known.
I know.
I went to business college. They don't teach you any of this shit.
yeah.
Period. They teach you to buy their book
Yeah.
and memorize their book for their book sales.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll get to that for sure. But it doesn't make any. I didn't get any 1%.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of experiences, made a lot of friendships in college, but as far as actual business acumen for what I use in the day to day, zero.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Zero. And so, anyways, I didn't know what I was doing. So I came back to this when I was 29 and left a very good corporate job. I still couldn't get the financing because no longer did I have a salary to support who's going to co-sign. I'm like, I'm a grown man with 2 kids, and it's my parents to co-sign something for me. What is this? And so I got investors, these angel investors instead. I figure I can talk people into thinking I'm right. I'm very good at that.
Yeah.
Case set match point, my wife, way out of my league. I outkicked my coverage by a lot, but I convinced her I was a good bet. So, but I think it just takes a lot of fortitude to really get to that end goal.
Right.
It's not for the. I don't want honestly. I want it easier, but I don't want it easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll have 600 competitors down the street who don't know anything, who have
Yeah.
no integrity doing the same industry. So I'm glad it's hard to certain degrees.
Right.
Right now, it's probably, I'll say this, right now in the marketplace, this is the hardest financing for new franchisees I've ever seen in my time doing this.
That could be very true.
Just while bankers did stupid loans. They financed all these commercial real estate strip malls that are all going under.
Yeah.
They put their money on the bigwigs who've been around for 40 years who never adapted to the times, and now they look at us with a and they say, "Why is yours so cheap?" I actually get bad crap because my franchise model is so cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, I have 4 banks. And I won't put them where I'm at in Omaha. They're within 3 blocks of here. I know you're watching this. Who won't touch a Rexius loan because it's under $50K
Is that
because
right?
they want at least $300 to make it worth their time. Like, who has that kind of money?
Yeah.
Well, rich people. I don't like rich kids.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
stuck up and arrogant. So,
Right.
not all of you. If there's a rich kid out there with good work ethic, come see me. Well, it is, but like for me, it's still a pain. Like my second gym, we got told no by so many banks.
Yeah.
And my
Crazy.
business partner was like, Nick who's going to be on my next podcast. Actually, he's like, I guess we're done. I go, oh no. I'll will this into fruition.
Yeah.
This will
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Having a chip on your shoulder, then when I prove somebody wrong. I still use that to this
Oh, yeah.
day. I mean, my Rexius business plan got a D on it in college.
Yeah.
You know,
It's so
I ran a
crazy.
Business, but that's awesome. You guys started the first store
Yep.
in was it
April of 16.
16.
Yep. I think it was the
Yeah.
16th, maybe 20th. Anyways,
13.
Well,
13th.
It's
The memory
so
guy.
here's the funny thing about these guys. I knew that. I mean, they were businessmen, they were entrepreneurs, but I didn't realize how much. Until it was about 3 months later, maybe 3 or 4 months. Hey, Rexius, we're down in Maryville, Missouri. I'm like,
Yeah.
where the heck is Maryville, Missouri? And like, we're already looking at base for a second shop. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, they're go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. They're sending me pictures on the cell phone of a spot, and I'm like, all right, well, if you
Yep.
guys want to do this, and you did. You built out. It was the front office of a motel. Is this
Yeah,
correct?
it was an old
old one.
motel.
That
Yeah.
place was a dump. Let's be real.
Yeah.
We went there because the rent was $800 a month. So, and that was included utilities. So,
Yep.
That's not a bad deal.
I'm pretty sure the basement was haunted, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It was
There was a
seriously
basement?
creepy. There was
Yeah.
a basement.
I didn't know that.
And we actually would stay down there at nights, like, and then just like stay in the back. I just remember like watching all my conspiracy videos, obviously, then
Oh, yeah.
just like thinking about it, like, is there somebody in the basement?
Did you
maybe?
stay in the basement back then?
No, I had,
Around the
I had,
basement.
You
I had an
can,
apartment. I was posted up in Maryville.
yep.
All right, so you open up the second shop. When did that have been open?
July.
That'd have been July
That was
of
like 3
16.
months.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
have been,
Good lord.
yeah.
That's
It was really
moving.
fast.
Like, and I
It was
thought
really
I was
fast.
quick. My first shop was like 9 months later.
Yeah.
My second shop.
The
but-
first 2 years were pretty crazy.
Yeah.
in business for us. So
Yeah,
we
it was
cooled down a little bit.
figuring it
All
out
right,
along the way.
so I remember meeting him.
Hmm.
And how did he start? How did you start?
Yeah, so at the time I was, when these guys would had their first shop opened up, I was going to school at UNL, and I don't know how to be PC about this, but I hated every second of it. And so I come back home from my sophomore year of college, and I'm not really connected to what I'm doing. As you guys were saying, there's no practical application. It's all books. It's all a professor who's never done anything or anything like that. And so finally I find out that Rexius Nutrition had been opened up. And obviously that's right when you guys were really growing.
Yeah.
And I heard about them. And I don't know why I can't explain it. To this day, it doesn't make any sense to me. But I went in and I asked these guys if they needed somebody to help out. And they were like, sorry, it seems like we've already got our team. We've already got our team put together. And I said, okay, cool. So I remember this for 2 weeks, every other day. I would come in. I'd be like, hey guys, still need any help or anything like that? And they were like, you know what, fine. The joke I always make is they were either going to give me a job or they were going to tell me to screw off.
Yeah.
And eventually they gave me a job. And that summer we had a great summer. Did really well with the team numbers and all that stuff. Yeah. And then they were like, hey, we're opening up a shop down in Maryville. We need a manager. You want to go? I was like, I'd have to drop out of school. And they were like, yeah, we know. And I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
It was a good learning experience.
It was an interesting deal. Is that meeting? I remember it. We sat down at Big Red Kino,
Yep.
and we had some drinks, and we were like, "Listen, we're buying a store in Columbus, Nebraska, and we're starting a new store in Maryville, Missouri. We need a business partner who can manage it as well in Columbus, and we need a manager in our Maryville location, and so it kind of got sorted out
Yeah.
that way.
Well,
That
and,
was
and
really
that's,
nice.
I think that's what comes down. Like we had a franchising Columbus was great, just had undercapitalization, just didn't have the capital, and
Yeah.
still a good friend, great customer to this day, honestly. But he just wanted to go something else, so I took it back over. I was like 2 days, and I called you guys. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 shops is cool, 3 is cooler. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then you had another employee bumping with you guys on that one.
Yep.
And then how many months later was it when we did Lincoln? Was
That'd have been
a year?
April
That
of
was
17 is
April
when
of
we started
17,
that one.
yep.
Yep.
Wasn't it May 1st that we opened there?
No, it would have
It would have been
It was
April.
April 1.
You know why I know
April
this?
one.
You
It
know
was
why I know
April
this?
1.
Because we actually
Alumni.
skipped alumni for
Alumni
that. Yeah.
tournament? Yeah, anyways.
We're skipping alumni, so you know it's
But yeah.
important.
So here's the part of that story that Sam didn't tell is not only did he come back in looking for a job, it wasn't like a, hey, I need money, give me a job. Hey, I need this, give me a job. It was him selling himself to us.
Yep.
It was him saying, hey, listen, I've got a bunch of friends that are big into weightlifting, love
Yep.
supplements. You know, I can bring those customers to you. And so, you know, that's a good education for anybody.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
I had a video on this somewhere on my social media too. That sales is everything.
Mhm.
Like, and I try to explain this to people, and I speak at colleges, universities, spoke at a middle school like last week. And
Mhm.
I said, sales is everything. Why do I want to be in sales? You're going to be in sales.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you're selling yourself to a banker on the give you a loan, a banker trying to get a home mortgage.
Mhm.
You haven't bought a house yet. I got to convince them that I'm not insane to start this many businesses. And I'm a safe bet. You got to sell them to a prospective employer,
Yep.
as he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Business partners. Doesn't matter what it is.
A relationship.
Everything
boyfriend,
is
girlfriend.
sales. It's all exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing you use the same exact advantages used in sales. Exactly the same advantage you use when you try to attract somebody of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
It's no
Yeah.
different.
It is.
Everything
when your
is
baby's
sales.
in the crib crying, they're selling you that they need food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything is sales. And if you think you're going to avoid sales in this life, you are out of your mind. It's all about relationships. That's the business. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Very few people can sit at home behind the computer with no boss, no anything, and run their whole life. It
Right.
doesn't happen that way. So, well, that's awesome. So you start managing Maryville.
Yep.
And then come that next year, I mean, you guys talking to me about franchising in Vermilion.
Mhm.
And we looked at it, and like, you and I had to talk. Like,
Yep.
I don't think I'm super comfortable with this. I'm like, listen, I need to like let some stuff off my plate. I have this Lincoln store, and my manager was awesome. He was leaving me,
Mhm.
and I'm like, you guys want to buy that from me? And that it said April, right?
Yep.
And then you've done double what I did, which, hey, I'm fine with it. I love
Yeah.
being out there. That's fantastic. Lincoln's gone very well.
Yeah.
This last year's been phenomenal.
Yes.
And so you're still going to school though, right?
Yep. So as much as I said I didn't like school, a lot of it had to do with a lot of underlying issues that I had with it. One, I think a lot of kids, college kids, just struggle with a sense of purpose, and a lot of people say it's difficult to go to school and run the business full time. And to be honest with you, I think that the business and the school actually help each other quite a bit because the business grounds me. I don't feel like that I'm not just doing nothing along with the
You're
school
able to
time.
apply everything you
Yep.
learn to something that's
Yep.
actually realistic. I agree. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give to any college student. I get asked that a lot. What's the biggest thing I can do? Get a job in the field you want to go into while you're in school because you can't apply any of it. Like I remember I was in college and everybody around GNC loved it. And I did the same thing with Chad Taki, who owned the GNC in Norfolk.
Yeah.
This is how Shane got a job too. I went in every other day. I'm like, listen, as much money as I spend here, I figure this way. If I'm here more often, I'm going to buy more stuff. So you're going to make money off of me,
Yeah.
and I'm going to get a discount because I'm an employee. It's going to save me some cash. It's a win-win for you, and I have a lot of personality. He goes, I don't know, because I have pretty full staff. So I went in every day for a week.
Yeah.
He's like, I go, and I just kind of smiled at him. He goes, no, okay. And I walked out. I had to drive from Wayne to do this, 30 miles each direction.
Jeez.
Finally got the job, and after that, my grades went up massively at Wayne. Let's be honest, I went to college to play football and do track.
Yeah.
I didn't go there for a degree. I went there to play football and to drink beer and
Yeah.
party. So
Yeah.
that's
Right.
college. But honestly, after that, my grades were phenomenally through the roof because
Yeah.
I finally all made sense. Instead of looking at accounting classes, widget A and widget B equals widget C, it was like my money minus somebody else's money with what I have left. So this sucks.
Yeah.
It's just one that you're able to apply things. That's the biggest piece of advice for any college kid is get a job in the field you want to go into. How do you even want to go into?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I had a cousin that went into hotel management,
Mm-hmm.
got a degree in it, and then went to go work at a hotel. 3 months later, hated it.
Yeah.
Why the hell did you get a major? Why'd you major in it for? Like why would you, especially in business?
Maybe there's
Right.
something I don't know, but why would you need that degree anyways?
Exactly.
Yeah. That is something.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yep.
But I agree with you though. Like, how much you got left of school?
I think we're wrapping up in either May or August.
That is a
Be
blessing.
done. There you
Be
go.
done. Look, I'm ready to be done.
I
Yeah.
have nothing wrong with people who want the degree. I
Yep.
don't. I have a couple. 2 masters. Most of my company's paid for those things.
Yeah.
But I'm also, I guess I can say it in a certain way, like, they're not worth it.
Right.
Like, my background in chemistry, that was fun. I worked
Yep.
with the FDA, West Nile prevention. It was cool. The chemistry background, most of my credits were given in filled.
Yeah.
I didn't have to sit in a class. It
Right.
was awesome. The master's in business, that was for, they paid for it. So I got paid to go.
Right.
You pay me to go to class, I'll go.
Yeah.
I didn't know debt with it though, but I'm still paying off my student loans for my undergrad at Wayne State College.
Yep.
Mhm.
Almost, good God, how many years has it been? 18 years later?
Mm-hmm.
That's just stupid.
Right.
Yep.
I'm going into my 40s. I'm not 40 yet, mind you. I'm not that old, I'm like a year away.
Yeah.
I'm still paying off my student loans. At
Yep.
this rate, all my kids will be in college, except for maybe Roman, who's 8 months old,
Mhm.
by the time I paid off at this pace.
Yep.
Yep.
That's stupid to be in my 50s or 60s. It's a state school.
Yeah.
And it's up
Yep.
400% from when I went there.
Right.
So
It's crazy.
it's just dumb.
crazy.
I don't see
Yeah.
the point in business. I just don't. You can't measure work ethic and determination with a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You're either the kind of person that's going to
Yeah.
take life by the horns and go, or you're
Mhm.
not.
Right.
If you can't, business is not for you. There's no wrong with
Right.
going to work at a bank and getting banker's hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't relate to bankers for one. I look for loans because
Yeah.
I have to get their permission, but I hate it. I mean, most people who go self-employment don't like having to get permission from
Yeah.
anybody on anything. So
Right.
And and I think this ties into, kind of what I would say is my biggest piece of advice to anybody who's very young or younger, because when I got Rexius, when I got the Lincoln store bought, I was 21. I was fresh 21. I was closer to 21 than I was. I was closer to 20 than I was 22. And the biggest advice I can give anybody who wants to make that jump, who wants to make that leap is you're going to have a lot of people tell you, it doesn't make sense. You don't know what you're doing. You're going to screw up and all those things. I'm like, the thing is that's absolutely true. You are young. You are going to make mistakes along the way. You are going to screw up. But, my biggest advice that I tell all my employees is that don't let the idea of perfect progress overtake progress at all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Moving forward is better than moving forward way too long and moving forward
Complacency,
perfectly.
complacency is the enemy of progress.
Right.
Yeah.
People
Absolutely.
justify their inadequacies against you. They do. They didn't have the balls to go do it. They didn't have the guts to take the determination on their own back and make it happen, fail or not.
Yep.
Nothing is ever done if you don't take a big leap. Without risk, there is no reward. And so people want to justify their own inadequacy, their own fears onto you. Well, no, I didn't do that because that's not safe.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that other people didn't think that, or we wouldn't have airplanes,
Yeah.
automobiles, and freaking internet,
Yeah.
and all these wonderful things that we all love today would not have existed. Somebody didn't have the guts to say, "I'm going to give it a shot."
Mm-hmm.
And so, in that aspect, like people, there's no safety net. I'm glad there's not a safety net.
Yeah.
Without risk, there is no reward. So people will justify their inadequacies based on their own fears, and they'll put them onto you. And that's it's not. It's true though. I mean, people I put a post a while back. Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. Steve Harvey did that. Love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you need 8 hours. No, you're justifying to yourself why you won't put the time in. I will,
Right.
and you're justifying it based on your health. Well,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be healthier than you.
Oh my.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm perfectly fine with my life's decisions
Mm-hmm.
because I'd rather sit on my deathbed at 85, 9 years old saying I gave it a shot than sit around wondering if I
You bet.
had.
Mm-hmm.
I think too many people. I mean, if you go into nursing homes, I've read so many studies on this. Most people sitting there talk about their regrets
Mhm.
of not doing things, not
Right.
about the regrets of the things they tried. Same thing with tattoos. Now it's not uncouth. It
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
be like, oh my God, he's got tattoos.
Yeah.
And like, it's gonna look like crap when you're 90. Probably.
Yeah.
I'm good. And I'm gonna tell my kids about the time I did this and how tough I was, and my wife's gonna lie and say I cried. It's not true. But I have, that's fine with me. And that's just the way I look at things. I'd rather fail and have tried than sit back thinking if I had done more in my life. And I
Right.
see too many people do that and trying to keep up with the Joneses and do certain things.
That
I
is the
just
thing,
don't do,
yeah.
And I finally got a new car. You guys saw it today.
Yeah.
Before
It's nice.
I'm perfectly fine driving anything. I don't care.
Yep.
I don't define myself based on the material possessions I have. I define
Right.
myself on the success and what my kids think about me more than anything else. But, so now you're part owners of 4 shops.
Mm-hmm.
A year and a half. Year.
Yep.
A year. Now, when did the gyms come about?
Well, that'd have been when we actually opened. That'd have been November or October
October
of
2017.
17.
So how
Gosh,
that went
it's already
down
been that
in,
long, huh?
In Maryville, obviously we had the nutrition store there, and there was a gym there. There was a 24-hour gym in the exact spot where we have it now, and the owner kind of neglected it a little bit. Great guy, but just kind of neglected the business, and he ended up shutting the doors without giving anyone notice. He had members who had prepaid year memberships and all this. But anyways, long story short, they closed the doors. We rolled up. I think it was to work out, actually, when we were down there one time. And we see the sign on the door that says,
Go to downtown Barbell, I think it
yeah,
said.
something like that.
Yeah,
So,
the other gym there in town.
so anyways, I think that was like May or June when that closed up, maybe June 1st.
Yep.
And so, it made sense. We were trying to find a different location because we said that place was dumpy that we were in already. So our year lease was coming up. So we're trying to find a better location anyways, and it just made sense that the two businesses go perfectly hand in hand. So what we ended up doing was renegotiating the lease where he had it, which I was the one apparently to contact that landlord and break it to him that business in there shut down.
He didn't even know?
So no, he didn't know. So I called him and I said, "Hey, so I see that this gym closed down." He's like, "They did?" So yeah, so we renegotiated the lease. I personally went in and built out a lot of the walls in there to actually put the supplement store in the front of the gym. We spent 3 months renovating the place, getting equipment purchased and set in place, and cut a hole through a brick wall and knocked it over with a sledgehammer. That was fun.
A lot of that stuff. I mean, I've never done a lot of that kind of stuff, like laying floor and carpet. I guess we did in Fremont as well, but it is a learning process. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the lesson we learned. Like, you guys have done a lot of your own build up at all the shops, Lincoln, all those. And then I've said this in the podcast before, like, when you're an entrepreneur, you're self-employed. You're learning to do a lot of stuff that you don't want to do, but you're not comfortable with. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Well, that means that's how I learned how to build walls. That's how I learned to do drywall, and I hate drywall.
Yeah.
I'm paying for anything. I'm paying for drywall. But, paint, whatever else. Like, you just got to do it yourself. Like, a lot of our people see my first cars, we had logos. If you don't realize that I did a lot of those logos myself, I bought them online because I couldn't afford a guy to put them on there. That's why they look like stickers. Yeah. Because they were stickers.
Yeah.
They were not actually a window scan or vehicle scan. I didn't have any money.
Right.
If you went to my first shop back in 2010, you would have saw 3 metal gondolas. You remember these?
Yeah.
Okay. There are 3 metal gondolas I bought from a closed down Walgreens for $60, and they were completely rusted out. So Shane and I went and got metal paint, the off-brand metal paint that was sitting on the bottom shelf at Home Depot. Painted them with paintbrushes. Then we got rubber baseboard and put them around the edges because we didn't know how to put them together. There was more duct tape and super glue holding that store together than I could possibly begin to tell you. And half the jugs in the store were actually empty. They were just there to space things out because I was on a nickel and dime budget. The first website made by Shane Yeager and Tim Rexius. And Shane and I would sit there and put products on it every night. No clue what we were doing. It was all just GoDaddy, pay $5 a month and just put it. I was so like, I'm never reading websites. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I still do it to this day. Like, I hate accounting.
Right.
I do accounting 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
But that just is what it is. So you did the first gym. How'd the Plainview gym come about? I'm really curious.
Yeah, that was honestly just kind of an opportunity. And I'll be straight up honest with you. I don't think any of us went into it thinking we're becoming millionaires off of this Plainview gym. I mean, it's a town of 1,300 people. The classic thing is there's more cows than people type thing in Plainview. But we had the opportunity to actually, it didn't cost that much, I guess. I don't know if I want to throw out numbers exactly, but it really didn't cost very much. Yeah, it was like 25 grand to start this gym, and we pieced it together through Craigslist and everything else.
Economic development funds as well.
So, and it was actually one of our best friends growing up. We partnered with him. And honestly, again, Jamie, I helped out too, but again, Jamie went down there for an entire week, and you and Tyler really knocked that out. And again, if you actually go into that, because again, the building, no offense to anybody that owns the building if they're watching, but the building again is garbage. The building is kind of falling apart. But you go inside of it, and it looks really nice. Like, we all did my little part, but you guys did a great job of putting everything together in there.
I don't remember how much anymore, but we hauled like 10 tons worth of junk out of there. So it was actually old brick walls that had been covered up with plaster. So we knocked all the plaster off to give the exposed brick look. And
it was so dusty in there.
There were 2 levels of drop ceilings in there that we ripped out and opened up the whole ceiling. So it was fun.
Yeah, business 101, entrepreneur 101, learn how to do some
whatever it
takes.
It's super dusty.
Yeah.
And then we were moving a squat rack in.
Oh my gosh,
we had to cut the squat rack in half actually to get it through the door and then bolt it back together on the inside. So we brought this metal chop saw out there, chopped through the metal, and when we went to go pick it up and carry it through the other half fell through a window.
Yeah.
So we had to replace the window.
Which was probably a good thing because there was already enough like air flowing through those windows. That would have really hurt the utility bill, which that squat rack is kind of cool because that was a squat rack from the high school that had probably been into high school for 30 years, sitting there. And this thing is, how much do you think that
probably
weighs?
800 pounds.
It is massive, like that old school,
heavy.
It's
All right, so something I want to touch on specifically with you. Because how old are you now?
Just turned 24.
Ooh, you're so young. Oh, I got a daughter. She's 19. All right, so I found this when I was with my old, in my old industry. Being younger, do you find it hard for managing employees who are either your age or around the same age or even older than you? Have you found many challenges with that? And with you guys too, if you have any employees that have been older than you, have you guys found it? Because you're only 29. You're... How old are you?
Same, yeah.
You're 29.
God,
you guys are young. Make me feel old. It's like with gray hair in this room. I just look extra gray because none of them have.
Beard, man.
Some?
Some.
I look like Santa Claus on steroids right now. So we'll start with you specifically and have you guys touch in on this. Like, do you find it hard managing employees? Because managing employees is it. You can only be in the business so long. So that employee is the only representation of the business of you to anyone else in the public. So it is a crucial thing. But anything you found in that you can tip on?
It depends on a couple different things. Generally speaking, most people understand that, if you're going to be the store owner, that there is a natural, hey, I need to listen to this person. It has happened occasionally between, some ambassador situations and all that stuff. But honestly, for the most part, as long as the biggest thing about managing not just who's older than you when you're young, but anybody in general is if you just respect them and treat them like a person, treat them like a human being, you try to understand where they're coming from, and all that stuff. Normally, it really won't be that big of an issue in my honest opinion. Yeah. The biggest thing is that you can't let that situation of you being maybe younger than them make you feel uncomfortable and feel like you have to assert dominance or power or anything like that. And because
I agree with that. I think a lot of younger people try to assert a level of dominance because they have it in their head more than it actually is. Have you guys found much with this with your employees or no?
Well, I would say from our point of view, I think maybe the only issue that we would ever come to is maybe we're a little bit too much of a friend at sometimes, even though I'll say this, when we say something, we expect it to be done. But again, we'll joke around with people a lot and everything. But at the same time, we will pull the trigger on people and fire them if it needs to be. But thankfully in Fremont, we've had nothing but rock stars and it's been really good. Yeah. And I know for me personally, I feel like I do a decent job. I don't remember where I got this from. Maybe one of the books I read, How to Win Friends and Influence People, I think. But it's the compliment sandwich. So it's like, hey, I really appreciate what you do. You need to do this better. Or maybe I'm saying that wrong, but it's, the compliment sandwich. So
well, and that's I do. You gotta be a cheerleader. You gotta reward the good things. It's any person, no matter how they are. I think that I guess as I've grown bigger, I've done that point. I have so many employees now. Right? I told you guys previously. I have my regional manager Cody, who is actually the go in between sometimes, because that way if they feel like they want to complain about me, they can.
Right.
So it's kind of almost like in football. I'm not being related to sports for me, so just know there's the council, the team council that they can bring gripes about the team or what's going on to the coaches. So there's that. That's why I kind of took that mentality with those guys because apparently I'm intimidating.
Yeah,
I don't think so. But I think because it was hard for me from the beginning to go from friends to boss and to have a certain. And I think with that, when there's friends and boss, there's an accountability standard that there needs to be hey, there's a performance review.
Right.
And that's what I'm doing right now with everyone, even the ones who I'm best friends with that work for me, because I'm like, okay, that's probably the biggest mistake I think I've made is just not holding people accountable because they're my friends.
Right.
You know what I mean? In this last couple of years for us, I told you guys I had to kind of retake the company over back last fall, and we were going in a direction I didn't think was positive. It was financially not good, and some people had to go, some people had to stay. It is what it was, but I had to. It sucked. It was horribly on a personal level, but professionally, it was necessary to be done.
Yep.
And, and I hate firing people.
Yep.
I hate it. Have you had to do it much or no?
Usually no. We haven't had to. There's only been one instance where we've had to.
Yeah. We've had to pull the trigger on a couple of people, but we always make sure it's respectable.
Yeah.
And
I always do it this way. I always figure if I get somebody to a different position, it was something we're not doing a sure way. And I always had that conversation, and I said this to somebody else the other week, and my brother goes, "Well, do you think it was you?" I go, "No. If you get fired from a job in sales, it's you, not me."
Yeah.
I'm going to say that 100%. If you're making me money,
Yeah.
you're probably not going anywhere.
Right. Right.
If we have a personality conflict, we'll work it out.
Right.
Because in the end of the day, it's black and red. You know what it is? It's either the black or the red. Like I said, like they just don't like this and about me. Like if you're making me financially profitable, you're not. Nobody's going to fire you over ego.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think people need to understand that. Like, hey, like, it's a business relationship. It's sales. As long as you're not a deplorable human being, like doing something that's just absolutely disgusting beyond recognition.
Right.
You know, that's just a violation of you're breaking the law. You're probably not going anywhere. So if you're, if you're making me money, you wouldn't get fired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's
See, to me, it's all just management style. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, there are definitely industries where I could see you'd have to rule with a little more of an iron fist, but in our industry, I mean, it's like a quote unquote cool industry to be in. So the people that come work for us are excited to be there. They're
typically
enthusiastic.
all that
They've
kind
been
of stuff
using the
anyways.
supplements.
Well, that's what I say. I feel like I always got the dream team because usually people are excited about it.
Yeah.
And I've asked them before, like, why really don't you use supplements? Okay, why'd you come in here?
Yeah.
Seems like it'd be easy. Thanks.
Yeah.
And it's the gym. Like we've had this happen. People are like, well, I kind of want to work here. But do you have a membership? No, I train over here. Why would I hire you to work here if you don't have a membership here? I'm not going to have you go around lying to people about buying a membership if you don't believe in my gym enough to have a membership. And people look at me, this happened this week, with the most confused face, like, I don't get it. No, I get it. You don't like my gym enough to have a membership, but you want a job here because you heard I'm easy to work for.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's funny because I have multiple businesses and multiple business partners, and you guys have the situation too that, like the way you guys will work in Fremont's probably a little different than Maryville, and the way you three work together for Lincoln's probably different. Same for me.
Oh, for sure.
My business partner Rexius, Shane, is about the most easygoing person on the planet. I've only seen Shane get mad probably 3 times in my life. We call Shane doing Shane things at Shane time, which means I don't have to know I don't ever know where he is.
Yeah.
I know wherever Shane is doing, he's working his tail off, probably off hours, doing more than he probably should be.
Right.
Then you got Nick. And so Nick is the ultimate alpha.
Yeah.
And so where me and him, we realized we can't text each other, period. Too much is lost in translation. He's like my brother. We'll end up fighting. We'll be friends 5 minutes later. But so like for us, like we know, okay, we got to meet together to have a conversation because I'm assume he's saying it in an arrogant term, and he's assuming that I'm being, stuck in my ways. And so it's funny to me. How do you guys work together with the transition that you guys do? I mean.
That is really interesting, actually, because, we've been really good friends. We were, good friends even in high school, but honestly, even his dad was my basketball coach from, 6th grade through 8th grade, or 5th grade through 8th grade. So, we've known each other for a long time. And, maybe there was a little bit of concern about that, but I feel like it's just, even, living with somebody, I understand, for one thing, we trust each other, 1,000,000%. So, it's, there's never going to be an issue there. And we both work very hard. And honestly, even if little things, I'm sure I annoy you at certain times, and I'm sure vice versa, But it's the same thing. It's just like living with somebody. It's like maybe it just doesn't matter. Maybe they keep their shoes in a spot that I don't like. Yeah. But it's like, who cares? At the end of the day, it's like we're going in the same direction. Like those little things just don't matter.
I agree.
So,
but and then enter him, obviously with Lincoln, and how that works. Was that an adaptation for you?
Oh God, yeah.
Because they go from them being your bosses to being your business partners. Because that's how it was with Nick. And at first, it was a little trial. Nick really wanted to assert his dominance and realized that I don't care about that kind of stuff at all. And it took us a while to kind of feel our groove, and that's why we've done so well now, because we found our groove, and I trust him wholeheartedly. But to go from an employee to business partners, it's quite a shift.
I'd say the biggest thing that is going down with Lincoln is that these guys have pretty much let me take the reins. Where they're pretty hands off down there. They work 1 shift a week, just to help out and stuff. And so honestly, I think the thing that I really appreciate is, one, I kind of use them for advice. They kind of mentor me, help me, move me through ideas and all that stuff. And then, because, I am trying to go to school. I am, as I mentioned earlier, made more mistakes than just about anybody they can ever make. They kick my ass into gear every now and again.
Yeah. Well, that's what I appreciate about Sam is I can just tell him exactly how it is, maybe even chew on him a little bit, and he doesn't take it personal. And, I don't mean it personally. I'm just saying, these are the things that need to be improved. And, I can be talked to that way too, and I might not react great at first, but then I'll let it soak in a little bit.
Well, I've done that with each person. Like Shane and I will have Shane's just the most complimentary person on the planet. So it's really hard, it's just all those conversations, and he's just like, I'll get her done, brother. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm asking you, should I go down there? And he just takes it upon himself to go do it. Yeah. And so now it's a race to get down to Bellevue this weekend to see who's going to build the back wall faster, it's just, which is awesome. And Nick and I, it's just one of those that, Nick has a way to come off very alpha, doesn't mean to, but he's a coach, you know, and he's just like that. And I don't like being told what to do by anybody.
Yeah.
I don't deal with authority real well. Thus, the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And but Nick's just funny. He's like, oh, dude, if I'm being a jerk, just tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So once we figured out, hey, you're being a jerk. I am. Well, it's because you had it coming. No, I didn't. And that's just it's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I with the business partner, if I know that they're willing to work, they have a work ethic, I'm good. We'll make personalities work, you know.
Right.
And I am blessed to have phenomenal business partners. So we started VHI and brought in Cody Guffey, and he is a facilitator.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic because I have 1,000 ideas, but I can't get them all facilitated. That's what he does. And then his wife, she's as bubbling, she's fantastic. And you take over the social media, you're better at this than I am. And I have no problem ever saying, hey, if you're better at something than me, then do it. I think I think ego does not do well with business partnerships. I think you guys would probably agree.
Yeah,
it's got to
for
be
sure.
a collection of ideas.
Oh,
and I'm always one of those, like, okay, like we have different ideas. I'll prove mine.
Yeah.
You know, it comes up, but it makes you work harder. I think.
Right.
I think having business partners. That's why I didn't like VH. I didn't want more employees. I want partners.
Yeah.
Because then now here's the funny thing. So it was good God. I think I saw it on Facebook and I see you driving up with a truck full of books, as if being parts of like 5 different businesses isn't enough for these two.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's with the books? Go with the books. I want to hear this.
So that'd have been about March of last year. I was listening to your boy Gary Vee actually, and he talked about flipping books, and I was like, this is really interesting. So I'm like, I'll just download the app on my phone, whatever. Just walked over to the local Goodwill, literally. So it's Rexius, then there's the street, and then it's Goodwill. So I walked over there and just kind of, and again, I didn't really even know what I was looking for. You know, there's definitely apps that tell you like to buy them or not. So I just like bought one book and I listed it online. So there's merchant fulfilled and FBA. So merchant means that I ship it out. FBA means I ship it to their warehouse and they ship it out. But I just listed it, and then the next day it sold for like $40. I was like, what in the world is this? So then I started researching it more, and then just started buying a handful of books, and I was just shipping them out myself, you know. And I was like, this is, if I'm thinking like a business person, like if I'm gonna scale this at all, I don't want to be a full-time shipping books out of my back of the warehouse all the time. That's garbage. So I was like, okay, I want to do this FBA deal. So then I started buying them, and I actually downloaded an app called Scoutly, and it sends triggers. So it's like, hey, if it's, you know, listed merchant fulfilled for this price, like $5, well, the lowest price for FBA is $14, say, and then the sales rank is, say, anything below $1 million is pretty good. So it's 500,000. It's sold 50 copies in the last it'd be 6 months. So yes, cha-ching, buy it. And then you'll make this amount of money. Obviously do the math in your head for what you're buying it for. So anyways, bought those and started shipping them to Amazon. And then, it just started kind of rolling. And then the other thing is where if you didn't have textbooks, I'm not saying it wouldn't be worth it necessarily, but textbooks is really what makes the money flow a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like we talked about, you were talking about textbooks earlier.
Yeah.
How they're so expensive, and they are expensive. I mean, even on Amazon, they're selling for $100+, and these college kids, I'm not even kidding. The one time I literally, and people might not even believe me, I offered a girl $5 for a book that was selling for like $70 on Amazon, and she took it. And obviously, I mean, it's just $5, whatever. She just thought it was a worthless book, and she asked me, and she's like, what are you going to do with it? I'm like, I'll find a buyer for it. And she literally told me, she's like, good luck. I'm like, okay, thanks. So, I mean, it turns around and sells. It is something, I mean, you got to get into it, and you got to obviously do some research, and it takes some time, and like, you obviously got to go find books or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is really interesting. And so then it would have been, I think this March. April, yeah. And, I was doing it like here and there, I guess, and then, making a couple extra $100 on it a month, whatever. And then I was like, I honestly felt like kind of guilty because I was like taking time away from like what I could be doing, at the shop or whatever. And so I was like, Jamie, and honestly, I didn't even expect him to do anything with it because it's just, our partnership, whatever. I was like, I'm going to bring you in on this 50-50. And so that's where we did it. And then it's kind of taken off a little bit more.
Well, we'd already had an LLC that had sat there vacant because we intended to get into real estate and hadn't done anything with it at that point.
Yeah.
So we had about $500 sitting in the bank. And so that was just another way to get like some startup capital because we could just take that $500, start buying a bunch of books, and send them in.
Yep.
But yeah.
So it would have been like right now on a 30-day running cycle, I think it's a little over 5,000, which is kind of low right now. But it would have been 2 months ago during textbook season. That's when it gets going. We did over $8,000 actually on Amazon just in books in 30 days.
Oh my God.
So it's interesting.
It's been a good extra income for both of us. So
pretty nice.
Well, that's what my grandfather used to say. My grandpa Rexius said, "There's a million ways to make $1 million," and there is. I mean, it just sort of proof. Like if you got the determination, grit. You can make money doing anything. Like,
Yeah.
it's this device takes away all excuses.
Yeah.
It allows you to work
Yes.
24/7, 365. And in a speech, like, we live in a societal world, not like our grandparents. My grandpa was a hustler. My parents, like, they had to do it between the confines of 7 in the morning and 5 p.m. in the afternoon. This allows you to work 365, 24/7, 365. There are no excuses left.
Yeah.
Zero. You have no reason.
Yes.
It is so much easier right now than ever. You know what I mean? And I say for our kids, because like, I've got a lot of kids, especially kids. But, I always say the same thing. They talk about kids' work ethic, right? And a lot of younger ones don't. I hire a lot of them. I can say that. A lot of them are born without a work ethic or not taught. And it excites me.
Yeah.
Here's why. Because I'm raising my kids right with hustle.
Right.
So take that hustle, less competition because less kids have hustle. Then you give them the access to 24/7, 365 customers. My kids' rise to the top will be so much easier and faster than ours, our parents, or our grandparents because they're raised correctly and they have access to stuff like this.
You bet.
The whole world, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
There are no excuses left. So
Yep.
he goes, I can't make money. You're full of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yep.
Figure
It
it
has
out.
never been easier in human history to make money than it is right now.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
blessed to live in a time where it is that economically easy.
Yeah. It is
And
something else.
that's, do I get tired from running this many companies? Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to do what no one else is willing to do now, so later I can live like no one else can. It's my
Right.
favorite thing I've ever heard Dave Ramsey say.
love that part of
And I
Dave
have
Ramsey.
it written down everywhere. I have a piece of my wallet. It's written on my desk back there. It's in
Yeah.
my car because it's the grind world. Like, I am jealous of you
Yeah.
because you're young.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
Like, I tried to do at 21, 22, 23 what you're doing. I just didn't have the ability nor the know-how to get there.
Right.
So the fact that you're at a 10-year head start.
Yeah.
You bet.
What you can do by the time you're my age, if you apply yourself correctly, is insane.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I love about like you guys, because you took an employee, made him a manager, and turned him in and helped him become an entrepreneur. That's the best thing I've ever for me.
Yeah.
A lot of my franchisees have come from people who work for me or work for franchisees, literally.
Yep.
And that's, I'm totally cool growing slower on a franchise level than my competitors do because I want quality people more than
yeah.
anything
Yeah.
else.
Absolutely.
It's just been fun to watch, and watching what happened in Lincoln. Like, my wife, does it ever bruise your ego that Sam absolutely destroyed your sales numbers? I go, like 5% of it,
Yeah.
maybe 5%. The other 95% is just damn freaking proud more than anything
Yeah.
else. And watching you guys just obliterate first month sales over Fremont, I'm like,
Yeah.
because I told
Yeah.
everybody no, I was never going to put one in Fremont. Then you guys wanted to. I was like, all right, cool. And then you
Yeah.
just destroyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's gone really well.
It
that's
actually
fun.
has been
Almost
really
4
good
years
for
in
that.
now, so
Isn't that crazy to think about?
it's
that?
awesome.
Yeah, and then like I said, I also want to use this as a chance to talk to those kids who are younger, who maybe do know what they're, do understand what we're saying. It's like last night I got invited to go out and party because it was Halloween last night. It was like, we're getting ready because it's towards the end of the year. We're getting the back office, make sure inventory's square and everything. I had 2 papers that were due, and between 3 different assignments, I had to write a couple different page paper, and it was like, sorry guys, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say that for everybody that's out there, if you're young and you're like, man, I feel like it's hilarious because you're peer pressured into doing things that are bad for you.
yeah.
Don't be afraid to tell them to screw off. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, it's just and and this is the only time you're gonna see me like disagree with Gary Vee sometimes. This will be one of them. I agree with him. Don't go out and buy the flashy cars. Don't buy the materialistic possessions because it locks you down as a business owner.
Right.
But if you are, don't worry about the experiences. Don't go out and party and drink and do that dumb shit. But go do something. Like, he said he didn't go anywhere for like 10 years, and that gave him the money to invest.
Yeah.
And that's great. But at the same point, don't forget to take time for yourself and go do something.
Yeah.
Go get an experience traveling someplace that's why I take 3-day vacations.
Yeah.
Everybody gives me crap. I don't go anywhere long enough to I go, I do. If I'm gone any longer as a business owner, my work just piles up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm better off taking many short mini vacations than I am a big long one. I don't want to go anywhere
bet.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I have that conversation with my wife all the time. I'm like, we should go on a cruise. She's like, well, if we do it, it's got to be like a 7-day cruise. I'm like, 3-day cruise.
3 days
Because I wanna
on
get
sales
back.
right now. I got
Yeah.
stuff to do. And
Yeah.
that's, Brittany and I just spoke about this last night, actually. So,
Nice.
but and I also have 6 kids, so my schedule is not my own.
Yep.
But that's the beautiful thing about being a business owner. You guys will find, as you guys will find out, that I have chaperoned every kindergarten field trip to the zoo for every one of my kids. I just did the Halloween party yesterday for my kid, my
Nice.
first grader.
That's awesome.
And it allows me that I do work 8 hours a week, but I make my own schedule, so family
Right.
can still be number one. And that's the beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur
Right.
is you work because you want to work. Right? I mean, as far as if you had to give the biggest piece of advice to somebody who wants to start a business, what would it be?
Don't go to college.
Don't go to college. Don't rack up the debt. Chuck Fortune and I talked about
It
this.
is honestly interesting. Like even people, in Fremont, they come in and they're just, 2 years deep into college and it's an undecided major and they're already racking up that debt. It's probably
It's crazy.
30, 40, potentially even 50 grand in debt. And I'm not saying, like you said, I'm not saying college is necessarily bad, but for a young person, I would say if you don't know what to do, get into some form of sales. Go sell cars, go sell insurance, or go to the military, one of the two. And just learn those sales skills. Even go join a network marketing company. People talk trash on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But direct sales, if you have to go give a presentation in front of 20 strangers and get rejected by 20 people, it's gonna
Hopefully 19.
hopefully nice. yeah. Just kidding. But I'm just saying it builds some thick skin.
It does, and you gotta have to be able to roll it off your back, and
Right.
it's I agree with 100%. Like that's biggest piece.
Yeah, so there would be a couple things. Number one, so this is what we tell anybody that we're going into business with. So I know we had these discussions with you, but we tell them to read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki and understand to not be attached to your paycheck, because when you're starting a business, it's going to be best not to take a paycheck from that business for a while. So either have savings or have some other flow of income where you can live off of it, whether that's a spouse or another business or another job, whatever. And then the other thing that we tell our business partners and anybody that's interested in going into business is expect hurdles along the way, because when people go into the business and they're super naive, they'll think, oh, this is just going to go great. But if you expect hurdles along the way, you don't know how big those hurdles are going to be or how big the challenges are going to be. But if you expect them, then when you're faced with them, you're like, oh, well, I knew this was coming, so let's handle it. So
exactly.
that'd be the big thing I would say.
Biggest thing I'd say is that you just gotta do it.
Yeah.
You just have to do it.
Nobody's gonna do it for you. I agree with that. 100%. That's I say it all the time with people. I'm like, I can make any location in almost any business work if you have work ethic.
Right.
People want things easy. I think that's the only problem with the cell phones and the technology. It's funny because the people see it online and they have this misconception. Look, Rexius is overnight success.
Yeah.
9 years, you bet, happened right overnight. Last week, actually. That's great. And it's annoying, but people understand, like, you see it on their overnight, but it's not overnight. Nobody's achieved anything in life without working their freaking face off.
Right.
I don't know anybody who's massively successful who hasn't had to grind like no one's business. My thing is be ready for the grind. If you're not the kind of person that thrives on doing the extra, then small business is not for you.
Yeah.
And it's for me. It's like, I agree with that. Don't take a check out of the business. Like people think Iron Heaven's never going to make it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Neither one of us have ever taken a check out of the business, which makes my break even so incredibly low. The building would have to burn down to not make it, and even then, we'd probably have the equipment outside and just put a chain link fence up, and I'd
There you
still
go.
make it.
Right,
So,
right.
for anyone else who thinks that, you are so sorely mistaken. None of us need the money.
Right.
I want the money. Make that very pointed. Please join memberships
Yep.
at Iron Heaven Gym.
Yeah.
But we don't need it.
Yep.
I'm supported off the other. I took one business and pushed on another business, pushed on another business, and just
Yep.
leveraged the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to grow income is take your income and grow.
Well, that'd be the
income.
great thing is to exchange short-term benefit for long-term benefit.
Exactly.
So, I'm not concerned about getting paid right now for my businesses. I want my businesses to pay me even though I'm not there potentially 20 years from now.
Exactly. When
So-
I'm 55, 60, 65, I want to be able to just chill and do
Yep.
my thing. And granted, knowing me, that's probably when I'll run for
Yeah.
office or something
There you
stupid
go.
because I
There you
am
go.
just absolutely, my wife's got this in her head. But, honestly, I love what you guys do. I see you guys paying it forward, like teaching your employees the correct, realistic, true values of what it takes, not textbook level. All three of you guys realize, may not realize, but you're paying it forward nonstop with every employee you have worked for you. And you're paying it forward through us too by running, Rexius Nutrition franchises, which I can't begin to tell you how much that means to me and my family. That this dream I had 16 years ago, and sitting here with a couple of franchisees of mine is beyond me right now. I mean, I'm incredibly humbled by the three men that are sitting at this table, and I'm so glad to call you guys friends and business partners. And so thanks for coming on, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate having us.
New product alert from VHI OPP Optimal Performance Popcorn. New bag size, 4 ounce, grab and go for the guy or gal who just wants a little snack and not an entire bag. Now it's convenient to take with you for you or the kids.
Made a little cash in the back end, but still rap like homie starving. Yeah, y'all ain't gotta ask who the man is. Hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. Who?